you want your discovery to be so powerful that by the end of it, all you have to say is, yeah, we can fix that. It'll be 10 grand. And they would buy. My discovery framework is hell bridges heaven fuel. Notice how all of this stuff is they're selling themselves. If you're okay with me giving some direct feedback, you say that the discovery is the part that you're doing really well at, but I would say that if you want to make more money. Hello, my name is Aaron. Welcome back to the Agency Sales Show, where I work directly live with agency owners and help them improve their sales, make more money, and just overall have more fun in their agency. So I'm here with my good friend Dax. Dax, mind filling the audience in just a little bit on what you do, your agency, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, so we build AI systems for real estate investors, and then we also do some Google ads and then some Facebook ads as well, help them really scale their business.
Let's go, man. Love it.
Yeah.
Well, we're here to talk about how to make you more money and improve your sales. So kick it off for me, brother. What questions you got?
Yeah, so I really want to go through my sales process and hopefully get some nuggets out of this conversation. Like how yesterday I had a call with a brand new real estate investor.
Okay.
They never have done a deal before in their life. And I didn't feel comfortable with them, really investing this much money until I really think they need to do a few steps before, spending $5,000,
Can I make
$10,000.
a quick side note on that?
Yeah.
Why?
Because you got to throw down money. And after the conversations, they didn't know how to close a deal. And I just didn't feel fully comfortable getting them going and having them spend all of that money. Maybe that needs to be like a little bit of a mind shift in how you would handle that call versus...
Maybe not, but I will say this, huge respect to you for not trying to close every single person and instead doing what you think is like ethical and right. So huge respect to that.
Okay.
So anyway, as you were saying.
Yeah. No, I was just curious how you would have that conversation with them. I don't know if you want me to go through how I had the conversation.
Yeah,
and then...
go through a little bit of that because it's going to depend a lot on context, like who they are, what was going on. I've been on sales calls with people who are brand new to whatever industry we're selling in, and they definitely needed our product and service and it made sense. And then I've been on sales calls with people who are brand new and it's like, hey, this is a little too early for you. So tell me a little bit of context and we'll go through that.
Well, so I own my AI company and then PPC and Facebook. I own that company, and then I also have a lead provider company.
Okay.
So I have two separate companies here for the real estate investing space. And this prospect came in and they were brand new into the real estate investing space. They've never done a deal before in their life. And they wanted to flip in a very local market, like a neighborhood.
Okay.
Basically. And they were like, I want a system to reach out and generate all of these leads and automatically book them onto my calendar for me. I was like, yeah, we can do that, but we can't do it in that specific little tiny market that you're trying to do. Ads just don't really work that way, right? And it's really hard to go and get a lead in one neighborhood. So I was like, hey, I would recommend these two other platforms for you to go and use rather than spending $5,000 in one specific market.
Got it. Okay. What do you feel like was the thing was it that you didn't really know how to handle that? Do you feel like you made the right move on that call?
Yes, but I think what I really needed to set myself up for is when they're ready to scale, how do I keep that
relationship alive?
Keep that relationship alive kind of the right way. Because there's a lot of investors that come in or just any potential prospect. They come in the door and I'm like, you're not ready yet. You don't have the it factor quite yet for doing deals consistently.
So there's a couple of thoughts that I have on this. It depends on really your philosophy on sales. There's a spectrum of like, do I disqualify heavily or do I just close whoever I can and trust God to handle the rest, right?
Yeah.
Anyone can fall anywhere on that spectrum. I know a lot of people who fall heavily on the close everyone. I fall probably a little bit over that line. and closer on the close heavily side. The biggest thing that's going to come down to is why did they feel the need to hop on a call with you? Because like if it's a real estate investor, like do mailing, like do postcards, do door knocking, door hangers, all that stuff. Those are all very low cost solutions to getting their leads. So my questions wouldn't be centered on like, just because they're new doesn't mean that I'm going to disqualify them. It's going to be based on like, what's the specific reason you think you need the service? And like, if we find that you doing the free path is genuinely a more optimal move, like I would advise them on that path, similar to what you did. But unless we find that that's the optimal path, I'm not going to do it. So for context, my intention on any sales call is to facilitate an optimal decision. That is my number one goal. It is not to close them, nor is it to qualify or disqualify. It's what is the optimal decision for you, and how do I help you make that decision? So it's literally, I treat it like a consultation, right? It's a consultative call. The second thing I would add is like to specifically answer your question of how do you keep them alive? It's just have a lot of free value, a lot of free resources you can give them, and then send that free value to them once every about 72 to 96 hours. And then just call them up once a week and be like, hey, how's business been? It's easy for me because I'm a coach. So like, obviously the services that I'm currently selling is coaching. So I just lean into the fact of like, I'm a coach. I'm big on accountability. You know, we said that this might be a good fit 3 months down the road. So I'm just going to follow up with you, check how things are doing, making sure that we're making good progress. But I did the same thing back when I was selling marketing services. I'd be like, hey, like we don't just care about giving you leads, right? We want to make sure that you're able to succeed. So let's reconnect every couple of weeks, see if new bottlenecks have popped up, and I'm happy to help you work through those. And I just do it for free, right? And then just by calling them once every week, once every 2 weeks, sending them free value, when that time comes, you'll know, because when they answer the phone and they're like, yeah, now just like, you know, I've been closing a couple of deals, but I just can't seem to scale up my lead flow. It's like, oh, well, like if you want, like I can help you with that. And then you hop on the Zoom call and you close them there.
I've done a lot of that, but I think it's more been like month to month kind of reach out, or the soft touch from like a social media aspect, or an email or a Skool group, whatever it may be. I've liked the soft touch, but I think I should implement some of those hard touches with picking up the phone.
It's surprisingly effective. Just doing that little bit of reach out is the thing that's going to keep you top of mind. I've had companies that I opted into their stuff 3 years ago and they still shoot me texts today. And I genuinely don't think I'm going to be ready for it for another 5 years. Like it just doesn't match up with my current life and what I'm going through. But I don't unsubscribe because I'm like, I can see myself potentially doing this. And so, and they're not really investing any effort to try to reach out to me. But like there have been instances where like, a few years back, like I would opt into like 5 or 10 different companies. I'd hop on different sales calls, and I'd move forward with one of them, but then it didn't provide results. But out of the 10 companies I opted into, I signed up with one. So that's 9 left. Only one of the 9 continued to stay in touch with me. And so they would call me up once every few weeks and be like, hey, how things are going. Right. I was like, hey, is there anything I can send you? Anything I can help you with? Right? Anybody can help you get better results with the company you're currently working with by giving you resources on converting to leads, whatever it is, right? And when that company failed that I was working with, who do you think I went to? It was the one who kept the relationship with me. Right? Because that person showed that they actually cared, right? That's be the same advice I'd give you. It sounds like you're already kind of doing that. And I would just like do it a little bit more, you know?
Yeah, just a little bit more effort with picking up the phone there.
For sure.
On that aspect. Yeah, I like that a lot. I think it really comes down to adding another email drip sequence. Hey, here's this thing, here's this thing, here's this thing. And then adding even tools that I use inside of my platform that they could potentially access outside of it. Like we have an AI comp calculator. I know the owner of that business very well. And hey, this thing would be great for you to
literally setting up affiliate partnerships with the best ancillary programs that to you, other things that investors would need, setting up affiliate partnerships with them where you're able to connect your potential prospects with those programs, collect a referral commission, and your potential prospects get a discount or a free bonus, or like you get 1 month free if you use my link, like that sort of thing. and then you send out mass text messages to your entire contact list and be like, hey, here's a free month of this other program that you'd only get because you're coming from me. And then you just providing that value. Now you're sowing goodwill with your lead list. And then when they choose to continue the service, you get affiliate commissions off of that. So it's passive revenue.
Yeah.
It's then your partner companies like you. So then they'll give you better affiliate deals that you can then give your list. Like it's a win-win for everyone involved.
Yeah.
Very easy, simple way to create passive revenue in your business is setting up those affiliate partnerships.
Yeah. I really like that. That's huge.
Small little hack, if you will. But aside from that, what else are you running into on your sales calls that's preventing people from closing?
I'm pretty good at the discovery side.
Heck yeah.
Really understanding where they're at. Great at that. I kind of kick back and forth between doing a 1 call and a 2 call close. What would be your reasoning between doing a 1 call close versus a 2 call close?
I almost always go for 2 call.
Okay.
Almost always. The downside of a 2 call close is because you're adding an extra step, an extra piece of friction, there's going to be more drop off, right? So like you will have leads that would have closed if you would do a 1 call close, not close because you do a 2 call, right? Because you're adding an extra step that they have to, an extra hoop that they have to jump through. However, I've noticed significantly higher show rates, significantly higher close rates if you do a 2 call close. And in my view, obviously it's going to depend on the business, but 90% of the time, you make more revenue, more profit from doing a 2 call close as opposed to a 1 call close. There's no way to say for sure without actually split testing it yourself and running the numbers. But I'd say 90% of the time in the agency space, 2 calls is the way to go. And the reason I say that is because in the agency space in particular, there is very little trust that a prospect has with you when they hop on the call, right?
Man, there is so much, pardon my language, you can bleep this out if you need to, but bullshit in the agency space.
Yep.
People say, oh yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And I was just at a Wholesaling Live 2025, which is it's a Super Bowl of real estate investing.
Yeah.
This past weekend, and I was just talking to guys, and they were like, oh yeah, Google ads don't work, Facebook ads don't work, PPL doesn't work, pay per lead,
as
AI
if
doesn't
the
work.
most profitable advertising company in the world, which is Facebook, doesn't work.
yeah. And so I'm in that conversation. I'm like, well, this client made 1.28 million in the last 3 weeks or 3 months. This client locked up 10 contracts in 3 weeks after getting started with us. So I think it just depends on your partner.
Yeah. and that's the thing is the belief that most people have, like in the realm of lead gen marketing services, due to the fact that there are a lot of crappy marketing agencies out there. The common belief is that this stuff doesn't work. So everyone's looking for new, everyone's looking for different, which you can use to your advantage. You just frame your thing as a new thing. The fact that you're doing AI, you are riding a wave right now. Ride the shit out of that wave.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because right now, AI is like you're basically getting the same types of results as if you were saying, yeah, we run Facebook ads back in 2012, right? Like that's the current thing. So before that dies off, like keep rocking with it.
Yeah.
However, because there is such a trust recession with small to medium-sized businesses looking for marketing services, that's why I push for the 2 call close, because you inherently build more trust. Because when you speak to the lead before you hop on a demo call with them, you build more familiarity. Yeah. I was just mentioning this with Ben in the other episode that we just did, but the fact like you came here to chat with me. When you filled out the application, I called you and I had a conversation, and then you came here. So this isn't the first time that we've met, even though it's the first time I'm seeing you face to face.
Yeah.
So there's this natural built-in sense of you trust me a little bit more because there's already that sense of familiarity. It's not the first time you've heard my voice, right?
Yeah.
You do the same thing on your sales side. Sure, you might have a little bit of drop off, but the trust goes through the roof, and that's the constraint that I would want to solve for if I'm running a marketing agency, is how do I increase trust in the market? Right.
Yeah. And Ravi
Abuvala. Yep.
Abuvala. Yeah. He's a guy I've watched for a while now. He's amazing at pre-building that trust just on social media and YouTube and whatever. I think he talks about having like people need to consume 7 hours or something of your content. So putting out that content prior to that sales call has essentially made my calls even easier.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, this guy won wholesaling 2025. He uses my platform.
Yep.
And he's the guy. I just slap him on there, and it builds so much more trust.
Yep.
But I really like that. I think I'm gonna make that transition more to that 2-call close again, and it's also gonna filter out a lot of those newer people. The newer people from a implementation standpoint, their turnover is much more. Because they're missing a few of those pieces on how to close, and just the turnover increases there. But then when you get someone that's already doing 2 to 10 deals a month, and you just add fuel to the fire, they're just like cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Well, part
all
of
day.
that I think would even just come down to your marketing filtering those people out. So like, how do your leads come in from ads? Like, what is that process?
Yeah. So I've ran ads for a while for tons of clients too. And then I started really joining a lot of different Skool groups. So these coaches, real estate coaches, they have their Skool groups. I'm joining those, and I'm getting to know the owner of the Skool group. And I'm like, hey, I'll solve this problem for you at a very discounted price. But then how can we do an affiliate, right? Giving them that affiliate to be able to send their people over to me to work with me in that way. And that already pre-builds trust too.
Yeah, for sure. I might have someone I can send over to you. You know Nate Barger?
I do not.
Okay. But really cool guy. But that's beside the point. So one thing I would do as well is that when someone comes in like as a lead for you, do they fill out a survey?
Yes.
Okay. So I would disqualify people from the survey. So if you put in like, how many deals have you closed in the last 90 days? And one of your multiple choice options is 0 to 1. If you're saying that every single person you've brought in, or almost every person you've brought in that has done 0 to 1 deals in the last 90 days just doesn't succeed or doesn't stick around, immediately make it where like there's a condition. If they put that answer, then they don't get to submit the survey. They don't even make it to you. Right.
Yeah. So with that, I just built that for the Facebook side.
Okay.
I just launched new ads actually yesterday.
Cool.
Running on Facebook and Instagram there. But I built that out. And then if they've done over 2 deals in the last 90 days, right? 2 to 10 or whatever, then that information gets shipped back to Facebook as a lead. Okay. Otherwise it doesn't get shipped.
Yeah, you got the whole KP setup.
The API stuff. And that's made, I don't know how the results are going to be off of that yet. Right. But, just some of those small tweaks that you start to realize as you're, really getting into this a lot.
Yeah. What about the people who are qualified when they make it around to a call with you? What's been the biggest bottleneck that's prevented you from closing a lot of those deals that you feel like should close?
I think at the end, I always ask for the sale. I'm good at asking for the sale there. I'm like, hey, which one, which plan? I have this one or this one. Which one works better for you?
Nice.
And I'm good at asking for the sale. But then it comes down to, sometimes at the start of the call, I'm asking, the right questions to understand if they're a decision maker or not. And if I forget to ask those questions, then at the end, I'm really, in kind of that hole where they're like, hey, I need to go and ask all the objections.
Sure.
Right. Yeah. And so one of the big ones I see, I got to talk to my business partner.
Yeah. And you're like, business partner? This is the first I'm hearing about this.
Yeah.
Like 40 minutes into the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things I do for that is, one, you doing a 2-call close is going to help you out a lot, because then you're able to make that part of your first call. It's like, hey, when you make these types of decisions, who works with you on this process? Or, hey, like in order for you to make a good decision here, who would you need to consult?
Yeah.
Questions like that, right? Or like, do you have a partner that's in your business? Things like that. What I want to do is I I don't necessarily care about if they have a partner or not. I care about who do they need to talk to in order to feel safe making a decision. Cole Gordon talks about this concept of the 7 beliefs. I added an extra belief, but overall 7, 8 doesn't really matter. One of them is support. They need to feel like they have the support of those in their immediate circle in order to feel safe moving forward with you. That support doesn't even have to look like them directly asking the person, but it helps, right? For you to just go ahead and pre-address that and be like, hey, who is going to play a role in this decision-making process? Whenever you make decisions like this, who do you typically talk to? Who do you typically consult with? And then you find out there, I have a business partner. Then it's very simple. It's like, hey, out of respect for them and to give them a chance to ask their questions, let's go ahead and find a time that works for both of you. And then you book the call from there. And then on the actual final sales call, I'll also ask them typically near the end of my discovery, like if sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. But I'll ask, okay, hypothetically, if this were the right move for us, is there anything that would prevent us from being able to rock and roll today?
Yeah.
Right. And you find out right there, it's like, oh, well, I would want to talk to my business partner before making any moves. It's like, great. Is your business partner there? And they'll be like, yeah, they're there. Great. We'll call them up, bring them in. And I've done that so many times and gotten the deal closed because I just made the ask to get the business partner in. Second thing I do is if they're not there, then I would just reschedule the pitch part of the call for whenever the business partner is available. And I would just go for the soonest available time. And then I would create an open loop. So I would talk about how on that call, we're going to learn how to solve these problems. And you really want to sell that next call as being the opportunity. But having all the decision makers present is very useful, very helpful.
And then on that call, right, your pitch part, are you showing them things physically on your screen? Are you showing them physical results and physical systems and things like that?
I've done all of the above. I've done having a slide deck. I've done not having anything, and I've done like having a whiteboard and drawing it out and writing it out on a Google Doc. I've done all the things. Makes such a small difference in the actual close rate. It doesn't really matter. What I do find to work really well is that if your pitch is very personalized to them, their problems, their needs, and you treat it like a consultation. So if they say, for example, like, yeah, I'm getting lots of leads, but the quality of my leads are really low, then everything I talk about in my consultation is going to be about the quality of leads. I'm not going to talk about the lead flow because that's not the problem they have. That's the issue with having a pre-built slide deck, is that you're trying to, like, the whole purpose of me asking discovery is I want to be able to give you a customized, personalized consult on what you need. So then if I have a pre-made slide deck, then it's like, what was the point of me doing discovery? Because now everything that I'm saying is a one-size-fits-all pitch, right?
Yeah.
So I personally lean a little bit more towards not having that, or doing a little whiteboard and drawing things out with them. But I've done all of the above. It doesn't really make a difference.
I've actually had people pull up their like Google Ads accounts before.
You can do that as well.
And just say, hey, let's pull it up. Let's go and look at this.
Yep.
And that is like a lay down close. Then from there, when I plug in, I'm like, oh, your one small setting, this is going to make a difference for you right here. I'm sure there's 20 other things that I'm missing here, but I just, we don't have the time on this call to go through all
That's
this.
how you do it. Dude, I would love that. It's like the audit consultation. So like, I've done that before, and it's super easy because then they're like, oh, this sounds like a lot. Like, you also sounds like you know what you're doing. How much would it cost for you to just do this all for me? Yeah. Right. It's very easy. That's a fantastic one to do. So I would just keep doing more of that.
Yeah. And, I close those people where I have them open up their systems or their ads accounts or whatever. And those are easy lay down closes for me. But those newer people that don't have a system or don't have something or don't have this, those are the ones that I struggle the most with.
Well, do those newer people get good results? Do they stick around? Do they retain with you?
Some of them do, some of them don't. It's
percentage?
Like, it's pretty close to 50-50 on those.
So
and
the 50% that don't stick around with you, what is different with them than the 50% that do?
They try it for like a week or two, right? They're doing something for a week or two and then they just kind of fall off. They're not that person that's motivated and going to go bang their head against a wall for a few times. Like I can give them the playbook.
Sure.
I have my school group. I'm like, here is the playbook.
Yep.
If you want to go and get results, here it is.
How you do it.
This is I've done it over and over and over and over and over again with clients, with ones that have just started, with ones that are really successful. And some of them don't do it.
Here's what I would do. I would, one, you don't want to be closing people like that. Your reputation is vital to the growth of your business. So bringing in clients that are just not going to stick around obviously doesn't serve anyone. So what I would do is I would identify early in the conversation, based on their past experiences with companies, do they work with companies and then fall off? Do they blame their results on anyone outside of themselves, on other companies, things like that? And then I would see what's the common denominator here. And I would just pre-address kind of that limiting belief in the beginning part of my conversation. I would only do this once I have enough rapport and connection with them and they trust me enough to speak into their life. But I'd be like, okay, do you see a commonality between all of these companies, right? What do you think is the reason that you failed? You've worked with 15 different companies. Do you believe that it's the companies that all failed, or do you think there might be something we're missing here? Notice I'm not saying it's your fault, right?
Yeah, you're saying it in a nice way.
It's like a kind of indirect. And it's could there be something we're missing here, right? And I'd be like, maybe, right? I'd be like, got it. Well, like, out of all of these companies, what happened, right? What's the common thread? It's like, well, I worked for them for a month and they didn't get results. And I was like, got it. Well, out of 10 different companies that you've worked with, you worked with them for a month and didn't get results. What if I were to tell you that I also wouldn't be able to get you results within 1 month, nor do I know any company that can? What would you think about that? And they'd be like, oh, that's crazy. It's like, got it. Well, like if you had to guess, right, why my clients get such good results, why my business is doing so well, why the people who work with me are making millions of dollars in 90 days, and yet they're not getting that within 30 days. Why would you think that is? Like if you had to think about it, what would it be? And then like you want them to coach themselves. You're just asking them questions to, again, you're facilitating an optimal decision.
Yeah.
You're not making the decision for them, right? And then you coach them through that. I would want to make sure that if I'm going to sign up with someone who has that past experience or is newer to the space, I set really clear expectations on the call before I enroll them that they need to be willing to really give this their all. And I will tell them, it's like, if you're not willing to give this time, we shouldn't work together, right?
Yeah.
Be willing to turn those people away. And then what you're going to do is some people will be like, oh, I'm not willing to wait for that. Great, right? Now you didn't bring on a client that's going to get bad results and leave you a bad review, right? That is not worth it. Versus you're going to, one, I'd say out of that 50%, you might get 20 to 50% of that 50% to shift their beliefs. And then you sign them up. And then you allow them to completely change their life and get great results. And like, you were the one who did that. Like, that's a phenomenal feeling.
Yeah.
And then for the other, percentage of those people that wouldn't get results in the first place, you never bring them on. Right?
Yeah.
But I would just disqualify those people or try to work through that belief early in the conversation. Just never sign them up.
Yeah. Okay. That belief aspect. Yeah.
Because it's their beliefs that are going to dictate how they're taking action and the results that they're getting. So part of a sales call, like I view the discovery part of the sales call as where we shift limiting beliefs, right? Because it's their belief system that's driven a lot of their decisions up to this point. And so they're not getting results. It's because there's some belief that they have that hasn't been serving them. So in my discovery, I'm identifying what are those limiting beliefs and then unlocking that. They should reach the end of your discovery and see the world in a different way or see business in a different way. You want your discovery to be so powerful that by the end of it, all you have to say is, yeah, we can fix that. It'll be 10 grand. And they would buy, right? The discovery is the most important part, which I would even venture to say, if you're okay with me giving some direct feedback.
Yeah, go for it.
You say that the discovery is the part that you're doing really well at, but currently your close rate is sub 20%. I would say that if you want to make more money, the discovery is the part that we really need to optimize, right?
Okay.
Because that's going to be where the sale happens, right? I've had tons of sales calls where I just go through the discovery, I ask them questions, things like that. And then I literally reached the end of the discovery and I'm like, yeah, we can help with that. Do you want help with that? They're like, yes, absolutely. Great. It's 10 grand. And then they just buy.
Yeah.
Right. No pitch. They don't even know what they're signing up for. But because we went through that discovery and they're like, wow, these questions are really helpful. Like I'm learning new things. Like I see that you know what you're talking about. They trust me enough to just buy from me without knowing the details of the product. Obviously, not everyone
then do
will
you
be that way,
even
but
go into that, that vision of, where do you really want to be?
that's part of discovery
Okay.
for sure.
Okay.
Yep.
So you are going into
Yeah.
that.
My
Okay.
discovery framework is hell bridges heaven fuel. What's the problem, right? What's wrong about where you're currently at? What have you tried to fix it and why hasn't it worked? As well as what are the things that you could do if we didn't move forward and why haven't you done those up to this point? Right? So now like they're not going to say at the end of the call, I'm going to try it on my own, or I was thinking about trying this other company. None of that. Because it's like, if you genuinely thought that would have worked, you would have done it by now. Right?
Yeah.
Heaven, which is where they want to go. I like really getting them to envision and imagine what life would be like if they were at that place. And then fuel is why now? Is this something we're looking to solve immediately or 6 months down the road? Okay, immediately. Why though? Why not kick the can down the road? And then again, notice how all of this stuff is they're selling themselves. So
Yeah.
now in hell, they're like, I have this problem. This problem is costing me all of these things in my business and my life. I've tried all of these things. None of them worked. I could try these things, but none of those would work either. So I really don't have a clear way to fix it. Heaven is like, man, but if I could fix it, I'd be able to do X, Y, Z in my business. And if only a company could do these 3 things, I would feel totally confident that they could help me. And then fuel is like, and I really want to solve it now because ABC. There's no option for me to wait. I'm just not that person. And then I ask, is there anything that would prevent us from moving forward if we could do those 3 things? And they'd be like, if you could genuinely do those 3 things? No, not at all. Great. We could do those 3 things. It's 10 grand.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
But because you spent 15 to 20 minutes asking them really smart questions, they're really clear. And obviously we don't have the time in this session to go deep into the script, right? But to have that time where you focus on them, you help them learn new things about their business, you ask them questions they've never thought of. Just by you doing that, now they're like, oh, this person really knows what he's talking about. So then when you're like, yeah, we can solve that problem, and you drop the price, like they're ready to rock.
Yeah.
Obviously, you don't need to do the whole discovery close thing. Like it is still very helpful to have a pitch, all that stuff at the end of the call. But like that's how powerful you would want your discovery to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So there is my problem on the discovery
On
side.
the discovery side, yeah.
Yeah.
And without again, going too deep into reviewing what your discovery is, I wouldn't be able to see where that bottleneck is.
Yeah.
But if you had to guess based on what I talked about, like a loose overview of how I handle my discovery, which part are you like, oh crap, I'm not really doing that?
It's really about the heaven part. I think I am getting a lot of those okay, here's my problem, here's what I'm trying to fix, transitioning them into here's where you really want to be.
Yeah.
I think that's the discovery part that I'm missing a little bit.
Yeah.
There.
What do you feel like is leading you to not do it?
I think I just get so deep into solving their problems. I used to work for Microsoft, building systems for Bushnell, the Chicago Bears, all these big companies.
Yeah.
And I was a consultant.
Yeah.
And I would go in there and I would understand what their problem is, and then I'd go and solve it right away, right? And that's what I'm really good at, is solving the problems and building things that work really well and solve their problems quickly.
Yeah.
And automating, using AI, whatever I can do to build those things really quickly. But yeah, I think that's what is.
Yeah.
My brain is wired different.
One, that's awesome, right?
Yeah.
That's going to serve you very, very well. Because I'm a huge fan of consultative selling. So that's going to serve you really well. The difference is when you're talking with these prospects, they're not as sophisticated as Microsoft.
Yeah.
Largely because they don't have the budget of Microsoft. And there's no personal stake for anyone who works at Microsoft if they sign up with you and you don't succeed, because they're all salary.
Yeah.
Like there's no loss in it. So they don't really need their beliefs shifted to move forward with you. When you're talking with people who it's like the money that they use to feed their family is on the line, like there is this sense of personal stake. So part of you being able to consult them well and then being open to hearing your coaching is you showing them the type of life they'd be able to achieve, the type of business they'd be able to achieve if they worked with you.
Yeah.
And that's why heaven is so important. I would also look at it like this. This is something that I found that helps a little bit more of the logistical agency owners in sales, which is whatever you propose to them is going to be dependent not only on the problems they have, but also where they want to end up. Take this, for example. If you are working with a real estate investor that wants to go from brand spanking new to 7 figures a year in the next 12 months, do you think that could be a different process that you'd have to walk them through than, say, an agency owner or a real estate investor who's already doing, $500,000 a year and they just want to add an extra 1 to 200K?
Yeah.
Right?
Very different.
So then knowing not only where they're at, but where they want to go actually changes what you propose as a solution. Right? So in order for you to solve their problem well, in order for you to consult them, you have to know where they want to go.
Yeah.
Right? It might be a little bit of a shift for you that could help you be more inclined to do that heaven part of the call.
Yeah.
Right? And then it also helps because, like, if, say, for example, you're talking to an investor and they're like, why do you need to know that? Well, now, like, you in your brain, well, it's obvious why I need to know that. And then you could just say exactly what I told you.
Yeah.
As like, the path's going to be dependent on where you want to go.
Yeah. I have clients that come in and they're already doing 7-8 figures a year.
Yep.
Right. They're already doing that. And their path is different to scale than someone just getting started.
Precisely.
Right.
Yep.
Very different.
Yeah. And so it's like, it's less about the problem they're currently facing and more about where they're at, where they want to go, and the bottleneck that's not allowed them to get there. And then in heaven, it's very simple. It's like, what is the goal you have? And then I ask, that's a very specific number. Why that number? It sounds like you've thought of that before. And then you find out what's driving that goal, right? It's usually like, spend more time with my family. I'm going to build an empire. I'm going to create generational wealth for my kids and my kids' kids, my kids' kids' kids, all that stuff. And then it's like, great. Like, what would you need in a company to feel like they'd be able to help you get that? It's like, oh, I would want a company that could do X, Y, Z. Great. Right. Now you know exactly what they're going to be looking for when you pitch them. So then just pitch that.
If I really hit that, I think, I could easily add another 5 to 10% on my close rate like that. Just by that small little mindset shift there.
Easy.
Yeah.
I love that, man. Great.
Yeah.
Well, any final questions, comments, concerns, or death threats before we wrap up this little episode?
Nope. No death threats.
Love it. All right. Well, then in that case, thank you so much for coming again to the Agency Sales Show. My name is Aaron. This is my good friend Dax. And today we talked about implementing heaven into the discovery framework, just making a couple small tweaks to increase your close rate. If you want more help like this, if you want me to come into your agency to take you under my wing and help you scale up to 50, 100, 200K a month and improve your close rates, then I'll leave a link to an application to work with me one-on-one or on a semi-private basis in the description and in the pinned comments. Again, if you feel like you're running an agency, you've just been struggling with converting your leads and you want to scale it up, just fill out that application, book a quick call with me. I'll be happy to help you out and see if it's a good fit. But there's no pressure. And if you want to get notified of more videos like this, hit the little subscribe button and that little bell icon, and we'll be doing more coaching sessions just like this with incredible agency owners such as Dax. So Dax, thank you again for coming out, bro. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you. Enjoyed it.
All right, let's rock and roll. See you next one. Bye.